Hi, Kiara. My name is Indrawati Ui. So today, I have a good interview with Dr. Puyi Lee, the expert of consumer and sensory science, and also online, joining with me, Dr. Si Leong, our expert in digestibility.
Why is it important for us to know how the food is being digested inside our body?
People doing sport, they need a really quick digestibility of carbohydrates, so that they need to have a directly supply of the sugar. Then you can have the very high GI, for example, like that index higher in the digestibility. But some people would like to have a little bit slower digestibility. So you really need to have a different GI index that it is maybe slower in the digestibility, because maybe you need to have activity by late in the afternoon for marathon. But you need to start now eating that carbohydrate that can be digested slowly, so to allow you to have energy afterwards, a bit long time. So it is very important for us to understand the kinetic, the speed of the digestibility. So when we do the formulations, it's also important to understand that the combinations of different ingredients can fasten, but also can slow down the digestibility. When we do the processing, so especially if we are working in the commodities that you still want to maintain the matrix, so for example, like legumes, you do not want to eat flour, right, every time. You need to enjoy the legumes, so you want to keep the legumes as legumes, but you do not know what is the impact, for example, like cooking. You heat treat it, you know that you need that, otherwise your teeth will be broken because you cannot chew, right? So when you chew, the question still, can the processing help you to increase and change the digestibility?
As a human, we cannot really absorb protein as it is. It has to be broken down into smaller molecules. So the digestions in our body play a very important role. So unfortunately, because we couldn't find a human and then feed them with the food and then look at it inside when it's happening. So we actually transfer this kind of experiment into our lab, and then we actually feed it with digestive enzymes to hydrolyze, to break down the protein and starch inside, and then we look at what's happening. So what we did in the lab, we actually follow up as a function of digestion time, which can take up to 4 to 6 hours. And then we look at how much is actually being hydrolyzed.
What is in vivo versus in vitro?
In vivo is related to human. Okay, so meaning that the people actually we feed them with the food, and then we look at changes inside as a function of digestion. We actually get people to actually chew and then spit it out, and we use the bolus, what is actually being spit out, we feed into a in vitro system. In vitro system meaning that it's happening outside the body. That in vitro system is we're going to put it into a much more stable condition, control temperature, and we also put as a control amount of enzymes. And this amount of enzyme is actually based on literature finding, where we don't simply just put as much as we can, but these are the enzyme amount that actually mimic how much of it presents in our human body.
Thank you. Now I understand the importance of digestibility and also how it works. So how about non-thermal processing? How it affects digestibility?
Non-thermal processing does not involve any heat. Because it's not involving heat, it will actually influence the cell membrane of the legume, making it softer.
Another non-thermal processing that we call it pulse electric field processing, where this technology can create the pore formations in the food matrix. A lot of consumers ask me, oh, you have a double processing. But the function is different for pulse electric field processing, because you create a pore, and the pore in the micromillimeter size. You can allow the immerse of the digestive enzyme inside of the matrix.
is it correct to say that the non-thermal processing make it more accurate for it to release faster or slow it down? It's because of the pore opening.
There is a potential to go that direction. We need to have a lot of effort at this moment to prove it in vivo. So all of our study now, we can masticate in vivo, masticate first, and then afterwards we follow with the in vitro. But in the long run, we would like to test it in the in vivo. But we still need to do a lot of research around it. Okay, so thank you, Dr. Lee and Dr. Leong, for your time today. What do you think about effect of processing on the digestibility? So I hope that you are inspired by this video. If you ask comment or questions, please post it and we will answer your questions. Thank you.